Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another episode of Amazing Worlds, where today I'm going to be talking for the third time because of incredible, stupid technical difficulties. This video doesn't seem to want to come out. Batman, my essential reading guide. So, let's go. Okay, so Batman the character, created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger way back in 1939, has been around forever. Loads and loads and loads of really creative, dedicated artists, writers, pencilers have given the character different personalities, different incarnations over time. So what I'm hoping to do here, what I start to do when I built my Batman sort of library, was to create a timeline for the character from beginning to end, because there is an end to Batman, with readily available on the market trade paperbacks. So I'm not going to be going over classic stories from the Golden Age or the Silver Age or anything like that. I didn't want to include in my collection really rare, hard to find, having to troll through the internet, paying over the market prices for storylines. And I also did not want to deal with rebootings of the character. I mean, DC Comics and Marvel to some extent are renowned for relaunching the brand every so often, so I wanted to start with material maybe from the 80s and up to the launch of the DC New 52, when they rebooted all the 52 lines of all the superheroes. I didn't want to have anything to do with the New 52, and that only lasted a couple of years until they relaunched again with DC Rebirth, so I didn't want to have anything to do with that, so I'm sticking to a timeline for the character. Okay, so where to begin? Well, you have to begin from the beginning. And everyone will tell you that you need to begin with Batman Year One by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli. This is a 4-part series collected in a trade paperback, which looks at the origins of Batman in a pre-supervillains Gotham City, which is just run by very traditional Italian mafia type characters, and it's a story told mostly from the eyes of Captain Gordon, and he sees the rise of Batman as a superhero fighting crime, and also the rise of Harvey Dent / Two-Face. Very, very influential reimagining of the origins of Batman, and very much influencing the Nolan trilogy of the Dark Knight movies. And the way this story ends blends in quite nicely with The Man Who Loves by, I believe it was Ed Brubaker, that's right. So this is almost a follow-on from Year One, which is quite nice. It does follow with my idea of trying to create a timeline for the character, and this is the first appearance of the Joker. This is a small story, but it's got great artwork here, and the story very much an influence on the 1989 movie with Tim Burton directing and Michael Keaton in the title character of Batman. This trade paperback, as opposed to get your money's worth, has got another story attached to it featuring Green Lantern and Batman, but it's got nothing to do with The Man Who Loves. It's just filler there. I mean, it's got nice art, but it adds nothing to the character, but certainly a second point in the story. Then, following on from there, I have the classic The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. I had the pleasure, the fortune of meeting Tim Sale at a con, and he signed that for me as a dedication. Really nice guy. The artwork is certainly very personal, and the representation of the Joker is truly is something to behold. This very much sees Batman as a detective involved in a whodunit series of crimes, that take place in the space of 1 year at different momentous occasions, celebrations of the year. So there's a murder on Valentine's Day, there's a murder on St. Patrick's Day, and different festivities throughout the year. And he's trying to get you to think about who's done it, who's the murderer, and it's Batman in that role. Again, it takes us to the very origins of Gotham City and the mafia crime families there, but it also features the whole rogue gallery of Batman. So in the Long Halloween you encounter everyone: Joker, the Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Killer Croc, the Riddler, everyone is here. And then following on from natural follow-on from Long Halloween is Batman Dark Victory, which is very much continuing the story there by the same team of Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, which sees the introduction of Dick Grayson as the first Robin, as the first person to take on the Robin character. Again, very similar to Long Halloween, a whodunit with Batman and Robin investigating crimes and the whole rogues gallery present. Again, some people consider this a superior story to Long Halloween, but it didn't receive that much cred and publicity and renown, but certainly as good as Long Halloween, if not better. Then I've got a very big jump in my timeline, and probably I should try to figure a way to bridge the gap between the two, because the next story I've got has moved on in time. Dick Grayson is not Robin anymore, he goes on to become Nightwing. Instead, Jason Todd, who's got a similar origin story to Dick Grayson, is the second Robin. And I'm talking about the really, really influential and very popular at the time Batman: A Death in the Family. The artwork feels a bit more dated, but it's a bit of a crazy story. This is the Joker as a nuclear arms dealer in Iran. So, yeah, I believe it's in Iran. So you can sort of imagine the time when the story was written. And Jason Todd was not a very popular Robin. They gave him a personality very different from Dick Grayson. So he was argumentative, he took initiative on his own, he disobeyed Batman's orders, and when the story was being written, DC Comics held a poll. People could phone in and vote whether the Joker would kill or would let Robin survive. And people voted in, the votes were cast, and Jason Todd's luck was set in stone, and the Joker kills the second Robin, Jason Todd. This trade paperback collection includes a second story by Marv Wolfman, who I met again and very nicely signed my story there, which is entitled Batman: A Lonely Place of Dying. And this is Batman trying to go solo. He doesn't want any more sidekicks. He feels really responsible for the death of Jason Todd, but he introduces the third Robin, Tim Drake. So it's a good follow-on in the continuity that I was trying to build when building my Batman library. Okay, next I've got the Mammoth Nightfall Saga, Volume 1. Look at how thick it is. Nightfall, Volume 2, Night Quest, and Volume 3, Night's End. Again, this story quite influential in the Nolan trilogy of movies. Sees Bane breaking Batman's back, breaking the bat. This is a massive, super long story arc, and actually all the events here that are interesting take place in Volume 1. A lot of artists took part in it. One of them, Klaus Jansson. There you go, super nice guy there. And here, after Bane breaks Batman's back, we see Jean-Paul Valley, who was a protege of Batman. He takes on the mantle of the Bat. He carries on the Batman's legacy in Gotham fighting crime. However, due to his more than turbulent past, which we are introduced to throughout the story arc, his mental stability degenerates over the story arc. He breaks Batman's premise of never killing throughout the pursuit of fighting crime and justice, and it forces Bruce Wayne to come back, confront Jean-Paul Valley, and become the Batman again. It's a bit of a drag, the story. I mean, it reads well. It's got nice artwork. There's a lot of sort of villain of the week, villain of the month to see which one will stick, and none of them did. As I said, it doesn't really feature Bruce Wayne that much. Kind of, he gets defeated by Bane kind of halfway through the first volume of the story, and then Jean-Paul Valley comes in, creates this really weird sort of armor, claw-like, fire-spitting batsuit, defeats Bane, and then the story proceeds from there. Alright, moving on, next I've got Batman Hush. Batman Hush by Jeff Loeb, same writer as Long Halloween and Dark Victory, but with art by Jim Lee instead. This time sees Batman in another murder mystery whodunit type thing, but this is much later on in the timeline. It features all the Rogues Gallery. Harley Quinn is featured here. The artwork is just beautiful. It's incredible. Jim Lee is an incredible artist, and yeah, very much in line with Long Halloween and Dark Victory. Like I said, it's a murder mystery. All the Rogues Gallery is featured again. I'm not going to give anything away, but maybe someone from Bruce Wayne's past comes to play a role here. So it's a nice, self-contained story, never been out of print since came out, and a worthy addition to the Batman catalogue. Next in the story, I've got Batman, Rape of Batman, Rest in Peace, written by Grant Morrison, and art by few people there, mostly Tony Daniel, Lee Garbett, one of them. I met Lee, not much for dedications in comics, but there you go. The art is absolutely fantastic. The thing is that, again, I've got a bit of a jump in the timeline, and as I understand it, this story makes a lot more sense if you've read The Black Glove. I think it is Batman the Black Glove, as a predecessor to the Batman Rip. This is Batman sort of going slightly insane. I mean, Grant Morrison, if you're familiar with his writing, it's a very peculiar guy. He's a bit like Alan Moore, kind of a chaos magician type thing, and psychotropics and all this sort of stuff. So it's a bit trippy, the story is certainly a bit out there. And does Batman die? Does Batman not die? What was going on there? I found it a little bit hard to follow. Maybe I was lacking the background necessary to really appreciate and understand the story. We are approaching, we're nearing the end. This story, I believe, timeline-wise, it can be shifted. It works very well as a standalone. It's an absolute classic, and I am talking about Alan Moore and Brian Boland's The Killing Joke. I know some people would shift a lot earlier in the timeline, but I've kept it to the end for reasons. I'm trying to sort of create my own timeline for the character. This is I think it's the 20th or 25th anniversary edition in hardback. not controversy, but some people don't really like this edition. The color is different. Brian Bolland, the artist, supremely talented. Met him at a con. Again, not one for big dedications there, but Brian Bolland in the preface to the book. I suppose he didn't have to do it to promote the book if he didn't believe it, but he wrote an introduction saying that he wasn't happy with how the color came about in the original story, so he recolored the story for this edition. And I have to admit, the artwork is just second to none. It's probably the best Batman artwork you're going to be with the really iconic image of the Joker going crazy. It kind of retells the story, the origin story of the Joker. The premise being the Joker trying to demonstrate to Batman that all it takes to go insane is for a person to have one bad day. The ending, I mean, this got turned into an animated movie. The ending is slightly ambiguous. You're not entirely sure what happens, and that's quite nice for me because it sort of fits in well with where I am going with this. Next, here I've got Batman Arkham Asylum, a serious house on serious Earth. This is not at all a traditional Batman story. This is not Batman fighting crime or a supervillain or anything of the sort. This is literally the inmates are running the asylum. The Joker has managed to free all the inmates in the asylum and has created this really grotesque scenario for Batman to deal with. He has to go into the asylum and put order into it. This is very sort of dreamlike. It's very abstract. I mean, Dave McKean, super great artist, incredible work with his covers of the Sandman series. Apparently, he wasn't first choice for artist. His artwork is certainly not traditional at all. Lots of collages, lots of mixing photograph backgrounds with actual drawing. But I think it works. I think it works for the type of story. This is really out there and certainly a polarizing story. It came out, I believe it was in 1989, at the time, kind of on the back of the Tim Burton movie, so it sold really well because there was a lot of increased demand for Batman products and stories at the time. This edition is the 25th anniversary edition in trade paperback. It's got extra sort of sketches and page layouts and design of the comic at the back, and an original bit of the script for some of the pages. So yeah, is it happening? Is it a nightmare? What's going on? Strange, interesting take on Batman, on what the character can do and can be. Right, next I've got a very recent story. It only came out last year. It was a 3-part story, and very controversial when it came out because it shows Bruce Wayne naked, full frontal. You get to see the bat penis, the bat schlong, the bat dong, whatever you want to call it. Well, haha, you get to see it if you've got an original first edition like this one here, signed by Brian Azzarello. Ever since then, DC Comics pulled it out of the market, and every subsequent edition has been blotted out with a black dot on the bat schlong, so you don't get to see the bat penis if you're looking for it. But this was the first publication in DC's new black label for mature audiences line of comics. So this is book 1. It's a kind of bigger, much bigger comic and harder cover, better material. Book 2 is there, and book 3 here. It is Brian Azzarello, great writer. I love it. I've got most of his stuff, 100 Bullets and the Watchmen prequels and the other Joker story and everything. Now, it's a hard one to read. I read it as they were coming out. every 2 months, and they got delayed. And then I reread it again all in one go when I had them together. And some people don't like it. It certainly reimagines certain DC lesser known characters in a different light. John Constantine is around. What's he up to? The Swamp Thing appears, the Phantom, and a couple others. I don't want to spoil anything. There's a few videos out there if you want to really understand what the how Batman Damned, what the story is and what it's trying to do. I think it's open to interpretation, but for me, when I read it and when I got to the last few pages of book 3, to me it came full circle with Batman the Killing Joke, which is why I kept Batman the Killing Joke towards the end of the timeline, and I think Batman Damned fits into it. I think to me is the natural follow-on from there, and it brings about the end of Bruce Wayne and Batman. Which brings us to the end. Neil Gaiman's Batman, Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader. Incredible art by Andy Kubert, exceptional guy, fantastic dedication there. And this is just an eulogy to Batman. Batman's dead. Batman's dead. I think this was the last story to be published in continuity before the New 52 launch. I could be wrong, correct me if I am, but I think that's what happened. And it's kind of in line with what Alan Moore did for Superman in Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. So Batman's dead, there's a wake, and all the rogues are there to pay their respects, and it's just, you know, it's got Neil Gaiman doing his thing in it, and that's it. Batman's dead, Batman's gone, and that's my Batman journey beginning from his origins in Frank Miller's Batman Year One, where we see his parents get killed, and I think I've seen his parents get killed so many times that they're gonna come in to testify. Not my joke. To the 3 Robins, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and all the villains and the evolution of the character. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, let me know what am I missing, what crucial key stories have I left out, and if you dislike and press the thumbs up button, please also comment and let me know why. So until next time, stay safe, have fun, take care, see you, bye. Haha, you really thought I was going to leave without mentioning this story. I can't do this because I know how revered and how valued this story is, even if I don't share it. I don't think it is all the cracked up it is supposed to be. And this is controversial, and if I had a big channel it would create a lot of hate and comments, I suppose, but who cares, I don't care. I'm talking about The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller with Klaus Janson again. So again, Klaus Janson, fantastic dedication there. This is a sort of alternate future, my books are falling, alternate future Batman story where Bruce Wayne is an old man, he's retired from crime fighting, and events happen. Bruce Wayne comes back as Batman. We see another not impersonation, but another person taking the mantle of Robin. So we have a female Robin now, this time, Carrie Kelly. And a theme that sort of permeates throughout the whole Batman canon is that the super villains exist because Batman exists. So Batman has been in retirement, so has the Joker, and the second that Batman comes back, the Joker comes back, because they have that sort of dual opposing relationship going on there. Now, I don't rate this as much as perhaps I should or people do, for several reasons, I suppose. Number one, I was expecting so much, I had heard so much about it, and this was so lauded that I was expecting greatness, and to me it wasn't. Starting with the artwork and the colouring and everything, it's just, it's clunky. I don't like it. It's messy. It's the color palette is weird. The forms are weird. Yeah, the story is also a little bit out there. It's like slightly dystopian future type thing. But Batman riding a horse is not the kind of thing I want to see. But you know, maybe what do I know? Maybe I got it all wrong. It didn't do it for me. I put it there because I have to, I suppose. But again, comment. Let me know where I've gone wrong. What have I misunderstood about Dark Knight Returns? And I am aware that there is a Dark Knight Returns 2 and 3, but people are really disparaging from all the videos and comments and articles I've read, and I've got no interest. For me, this is the core, the essential reading guide of Batman. But please let me know again if I left anything out, if I missed something. Thank you for watching. Now, for sure, like, subscribe, comment, let me know. Again, if you press the down button, tell me why, and this time, yes. Please, take care, enjoy, have fun, and see you next time. Bye.